All right, let's roll. Welcome back to Learn Piano Live. I'm Jamin, and this is Nano.
Hey guys, what's up, Jamin? How are you?
And girls.
And girls. Sorry.
The sexism starts at what? 2 seconds.
2 seconds in, I'm already getting sexist. No, I mean guys, as in everyone.
Oh, so you're one of those kind of guys.
Like yes, like mankind.
That just lumps everybody all together.
Like mankind, you know. Like
all right, I apologize for Nano. I'm sorry. Let's get rid of him. Today. We're talking about voicings for pop chords. This is the advanced lesson, so I'm assuming that you already know about major chords, minor chords, scales. You're relatively familiar with the circle of fifths, so you've heard of it before, stuff like that. So anyway, we're going to be talking about voicings for pop chords. This month we're all major keys. In fact, I think this is the last lesson of the month, because this is the last day of the month. I guess that makes sense. I should have thought that one through. And we've been talking about major keys in pop songs and stuff. I want to mention, though, like obviously you're in on this stuff early as we're setting up the website and deciding what all this stuff is going to be. So whatever your ideas are for what you'd like to see at the website or other topics you'd like us to cover and stuff, I think it's October we're dedicating all to requests from students and what topics you want covered on the piano. So just let us know, because I'm just happy to be here and to provide whatever I can to you as you are on this piano journey with me. So anyway, let us know what you want to learn. Tonight we're doing pop chord voicings. Let's jump in and get started. The first thing that we want to talk about is in pop music, you're going to want to be using fewer notes for sure in almost every case. So like if you've got like a C chord, you know, then this is a terrible way to voice it for pop, because it sounds too full, too big. So we're going to talk about how to take out notes. In most cases, right now, what's really popular is taking out the 3 and then adding in some other odd extensions. Actually, you wouldn't have expected, you know, maybe 10 years ago to see so many major 7s and stuff in pop music, but there's a lot of that stuff going on right now. So that's what we're going to talk about. So playing fewer notes is the first thing. For a C chord, this is going to be fine in the bass or even one note. Just make sure that you're not just playing one note because you're lazy. And you know, this octaves thing, while it's really, really popular and like every cover on YouTube is going to have this stuff and this stuff right here, make sure that you're doing that stylistically instead of because that's the only thing you know. I never practice this way because I can always downgrade whatever I've practiced to just playing octaves. When I'm practicing, you know, I'm playing with 10ths or with a 9th in there, or you know, some kind of a melody in the top or something like that. So as far as your practice time is concerned, you want to take notes out when you're practicing pop, but you don't want to be just stuck with that for your practice time unless you're not familiar with that yet, in which case you got some work to do. So anyway, for tonight, we're going to play just the 1 and the 5. We're going to be playing octaves in the bass, just because that's what usually goes on. And then at the top, we're going to take out the 3 is going to be the first thing we're going to do. So this is going to be our C chord, and maybe throw in a 5 down here. Just like that. Let's go ahead and run through the circle of fifths. We're going to go just from C to F to B flat to E flat for right now, and try that with taking those notes out. Should be relatively easy because we're playing less than what you usually play. We're going to play octaves or fifths down here and just the fifths up here, maybe changing where the fifths are up here. And I'm going to use the MP3 from tonight for tonight's lesson. So you don't have to download that now. I'm going to play it for you the entire lesson long, but later on you'll be practicing with the same exact thing. Here we go. You're going to get 4 counts, and then we've got 4 bars of each chord starting at C. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. Here's F. B flat. Can you give me a little more desktop? E flat. A little bit more. That's good. Now we're on A flat. Last one, let's go to D flat. There we go. And that'll take you all the way through the entire circle of fifths there. But so that's the first thing. Should be relatively easy, just taking out the 3. Now, is like last night we were working on what to do with the left hand and talked about some tense patterns and stuff like that. Tonight we're going to be talking primarily about the right hand stuff to do. We already talked about taking out the 3. Now let's add in some melody notes. We're going to use the pentatonic scale, so that's the 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6 of each of these scales. So as we switch, as the MP3 here switches chords, we're going to switch scales actually. So we're going to go from the C scale to the F pentatonic. And again, that's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 of the major scale, and then back up to the 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. And then we're going to go to B flat. Go ahead and run through your pentatonic scale here in B flat. 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 6, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and then E flat. And then we'll probably go up to A flat. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 in A flat. So hopefully you got those all set up now. You're ready to go from C to F to B flat to E flat to A flat. Here we go. And we're still going to use just octaves here in the left hand. 2, 3, 4. F. B flat. E flat. A flat. And then you'll practice all the way through the entire circle. So there, some of the stuff that I was doing over here was just playing the 5 on the top. If we play the 5 on the top of our pentatonic scale, that sounds like 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 6, 5. So it's a really popular thing to do, and that's all pentatonic scale stuff. And then we can stick the 5 on the top, or we can stick the 1 on the top. If we stick the 1 on the top, use the pentatonic scale. So 5 on top, 1 on top, 5 on top. So we'll try some of that stuff. 5 on top and 1 on top in all of our keys. Here we go. Coming up. D flat. Let's go one more to G flat or F sharp. Now the pentatonic scale on the F sharp is all black notes. So hopefully you're already familiar with that. That means that anything that you do on black notes in F sharp is going to be all safe. So all this stuff, you literally can't hit a wrong black note if we're in G flat or F sharp and you're playing the pentatonic scale. So let me go back to that one and then we'll just mess around on the black notes. It's all the pentatonic stuff. And then here's our D flat. Now here comes the F sharp, and you'll see it switches to B. So anyway, that's some pentatonic stuff you can add into your melodies as you're playing. A really common thing to do is that one on top, then the 5 on top, then the 1 on top. So if you're in C, having the 1 on top, there you go. So that's a pentatonic scale. We want to do 2 more things tonight. That's add in the major 7, like I was talking about, and then adding in the 2 to the voicings. If you look at your PDF here, we've got some pop voicings here. A 2-5-1 is the first thing. So on a C chord, that's going to be your 2-5-1. And that's a really common voicing for the top part. So we got our 5ths down here, and we've got, and then we can play our pentatonic scale on top of that. Switch into F. Right, and then same thing in all the keys. So that 2-5-1 voicing. Let's go ahead and try that with a few of the keys from our circle of fifths on the MP3. Here we go. Flat. A flat. So that's your 2-5-1. It's just got a lot of space in it, like I was talking about before. We want to take notes out and create lots and lots of space here, so that every note that we play has a specific purpose, a specific color that it adds to the chord. When we're just playing, these block chords, there's not, like, each individual note isn't as important. In pop music, you only play the notes that are going to add something to the music, which should be true for all genres, but it's especially true here. All right, next one over is the 5-1-2-5, and I think I actually already covered this one when I was playing here. We got the 5, the 1, the 2, and the 5. So that's our 5-1-2-5. So just switching between the 2-5-1 and the 5-1-2-5. We've got a lot of variety already. Pop voicing here, pop voicing here. Let's try that in the circle of fifths, starting at C. 2, 3, 4. Here's the 5-1-2-5. Moving on to F. Two, 5, 1. 5-1-2-5. E flat, 5-1-2-5, 2-5-1. So there we go. Moving on to the next one. All this stuff, of course, is stuff that you're going to need to spend a lot more time working on. The ones that are difficult for you, spend some time shedding that stuff out, because you're gonna need that in your pop voicings. So we got the 5-1-2-5. The next one is going to be a 5-1-3-4-3. This is actually a series of notes here. The 3-4-3 all happen together. So we got the 5-1. Down here. 5-1-3-4-3. So generally, you're only going to use the 4s when you have a suspended chord. In this case, you're going to use the 4 just as a melody note, because we got that half step right there that is so melodic and so important to that 3. That 4 is going to lead down to that 3 so nicely. So to review again, we've got 2-5-1 as our first voicing, 5-1-2-5, and now we're going to add in 5-1-3-4-3. Let's try that. 3, 4, 3. Then B flat. 2, 5, 1, 5, 1, 2, 5. 5, 1, 2, 5. There you go. Moving on to the next one. 1, 2, 5. Pretty obvious. Hopefully you've already used this one actually a lot. I just threw this one in here because it's so popular that if you're not familiar with it already, you need to get familiar with this one. This is 1, 2, 5. It's taking out the 3, just moving it down to the 2. Sometimes it's called a sus2. It could also be called a C add 9. That'd be a C, and then the 9 is here. But then in pop music, if you see that, it's going to usually mean that they want the 9 down there, which is actually a 2. So that one right there. Which again, most of these notes here are taken out of the pentatonic scale, with the exception of that 4 in there. These are all pentatonic ideas, so becoming familiar with that pentatonic scale again is going to be very important for all of your keys. The other one is just going to be a 3-1. So it's like a regular third harmony, only when we spread it out and use that 6th. Going to add a little extra something there, and you can add this for like any of the melodies that we're doing. So you want to use the 5, 1, 3, 4, 3, adding that harmony there at the end, that 6th harmony. Those 6 are going to be important. So let's use some of those ideas. Here we go. So anyway, hopefully you're seeing all those ideas and that stuff that I'm playing. The next one that I want to point out, and we'll go through these relatively quickly here because I think you're getting the idea, leaving the bass note out. So whatever you're playing down here, again, I mentioned this already, that we want to make sure that every note that we're playing has significance. So that means if we're playing a root note down here, we don't necessarily need that note up here, unless you're specifically hearing that in the voicing that you're wanting. I would leave that note out and play that, or if you want the 1, 2, 5 voicing, then just playing the 2 and the 5 up here to the F. So you don't need the 1 at all. If the bass note is a 3, if it's like a 1 over 3, then you're going to need that 1 up here to kind of hold that chord down so that people aren't hearing a 3 chord or something like that. So leaving the bass note out. The last one is that we're going to, here we go. We're going to put the 7, 1, 5 in. This is a lot like the 5, 1, 3, 4, 3 concept, only it's going to be this half step over here between the 7 and the 1. So we've got 5, 1, 3, 4, 3, and then the other half step that we can use is the 7, 1, 5. So throwing all these concepts together, running through the circle of fifths, just like you're going to do when you're practicing this week. Here we go. and that is all strictly 100% stuff that is one of those options that's there on your PDF. One of these concepts is everything that I was just playing there. So other ideas here, we already talked about the pentatonic scale, adding the major 7 not only in the 7/5 or 7/1/5 pattern, excuse me, but then also like using it in a 1/7/5. But generally, a song is going to either feel more pentatonic-y or more major 7th melodic-y. So, for example, like if you have this, that kind of a sound is going to be that major 7. That 6 kind of gives it like this happy-go-lucky feel instead of like that dark major 7 feel. So I wouldn't use, even though I just did to make sure that I covered all of the ideas I gave you, I generally wouldn't use both a pentatonic scale and a major 7 in the same short time period, probably not in the same song even. So anyway, keep that in mind. Use either the 6 or the 7. You can use this like this melodic pentatonic scale here, or you can use this one right here, or you can use this one. So one of those 2 scales, and then the other one is adding in the 4, just like we did. Most of the concepts that you use for the 7, you can take that exact same thing and transfer it to the other half step that we have between the 3 and the 4. So that one wasn't as good of an example, actually. This one right here, don't do that. But this one here between the 1, 7, and the 5, that's going to act just like the 1, the 3, and the 4. Once you go 1, 7, 1, 5, then off of the 4, it's because we're not wanting to emphasize the 4 because it's not in the chord. You don't want to land as much on that one. You want to land on one of these if you're going to use that pattern in there. So there you go. That's that. It's time for you to send in your questions about pop chord voicings to Nano. Do that by typing in your first name and the question in the box below the video right now. And I had something else I wanted to share with you tonight about just being encouraging and not bringing other people down, especially since we're in the advanced lesson and you guys are all very good players. You have some experience. It's really important for us to bring up the people under us, and I just couldn't find a better way to express it than my friend Mike Johnson already put it. So I'm going to show you a 2-minute video of him where he's communicating the same exact thing to drummers. So just take out whenever he says drums, put in the word piano, and this same thing applies to us. Here we go.
Not as accomplished as me at the drums. I don't think they're worse than me. I think they're earlier than me. They're earlier on the timeline of drumming.
No, that's not it at all. Sorry. It's supposed to play from the beginning. Let's try that again. Here we go.
I've been doing videos on YouTube pretty much since YouTube started. In that time, I've been called every horrible name in the book. I've been made fun of every way you could possibly imagine. And honestly, I don't mind. I've got a thick skin, I'm pretty used to it. What I do mind is when an 8-year-old student of mine puts up a video on YouTube of them doing their very best, trying to just show me that they've practiced, and they get made fun of. What could possibly be so wrong in someone's life that they're going to make fun of an 8-year-old trying their best at playing the drums? That type of negativity is absolutely unnecessary. Now, we know that we can't stop it. We know that that negativity and those negative comments come from people's insecurities. So instead of trying to stop them from being negative, why don't we overpower it with positive comments? What you can do to help me change this is to find any video on YouTube. It doesn't matter how good it is or how bad it is, but just post something positive, anything. Because if you think somebody quote unquote sucks at the drums, you're wrong. They're just early in the timeline. There's the day you start, and from that day, you just move forward and you get better every single day. So when I see somebody that's not as accomplished as me at the drums, I don't think they're worse than me. I think they're earlier than me. They're earlier on the timeline of drumming than I am, and it's my job to encourage them, and it's your job to encourage them. You don't have to lie and say you're the greatest drummer in the world. You can just say something nice. Your hi-hats sound amazing. Keep at it. I remember when I struggled just like that. Stick with it. You're going to get through this. But post something positive, and you will change their lives forever, and you will cause them to stick with this instrument for the rest of their lives. So if you feel the same way about this that I do, please share this video and tell people to get on board with the Positive Post campaign. There's nothing to gain out of this except for the online community getting better.
That was awesome. Sorry about that. So obviously you can't repost that video, but if you go search Mike Johnson, I think it's called the most important video I've ever uploaded or something like that. You'll find that pretty easily. So anyway, it's time for questions. So Nano, what do we got tonight?
We got one question tonight, and it comes from Matt, and he's asking, can I still use block chords in my left hand in pop songs?
Can you still use block chords?
Block chords in his left hand in pop songs.
Oh, yeah. Especially if, well, yeah, it depends. I'm still going to say that you should get rid of some of the notes. At least spread out your chords to tenths, which I know is not very blocky at all. That's kind of spread out. In general, you know, like Adele has some stuff that's really blocky, but she's usually playing like just one note at a time. So I think she's got, something else. So she's doing the block thing, but she's playing like one note at a time. So just playing that whole thing. Yeah, I mean, you could probably find like a Maroon 5 song or something like that where they're actually doing that, or Coldplay where they're actually doing that. But it's kind of like the feature of the song. It's not something that's being played in the background. So if you're going to just be a background player, which is 99% of the time, you're not going to be featured, and you're just sitting back there making the song awesome. Then you just got to play your part and not be so cluttered and something that really sticks out. So I would say I said yes at the beginning, and now I'm going to change it entirely. I'm going to say no. Don't play block chords unless it's either a feature, or if you are if you got some solo stuff, or your guitar player didn't show up to the gig or whatever, then you know you're going to have to fill in all the other parts of the band and stuff. So if you're playing melody up here, then yeah, you could definitely and go from there with your block chords down here. But even there, I mean, that's very, very featured. That's very prominent. People are going to notice that a lot. If you're just wanting to kind of fill in the background, I'm thinking playing any kind of a ballad or anything with a band, especially if the song is a guitar song, you don't want to make that your opportunity to turn that into a piano cover of that song. You want to be way in the background so that the people in the band come up to you afterwards and always ask you to play more. You don't want to have them ever ask you to play less. And when you start getting blocky and stuff and really heavy, you're going to start making it sound like a piano song, and then they're going to go, yeah, why don't you lay out on that one song? And you could have been in for that one song if you just would have spread it out and played fewer notes and played more pop voicings. But you play those, any jazz voicings or just playing block chords and stuff, and guarantee you they're going to come up to you afterwards and say one or two things. Either they're going to say, man, that was awesome, we need to turn that into a piano song, we need to get rid of the guitar. That's not likely. They might do that. The only other option is they're going to say, hey man, why don't you lay out for that song, because it's not a piano song. So if you want to stay in, I'm going to say no block chords. Next.
That's it for tonight.
Awesome. All right, cool. Well, like I said, we're looking for your suggestions about how we can better help you. I'm here to serve you, so let me know how I can do that, and I will see you next week. We're doing actually piano covers next week in the advanced lesson, and we're changing topics entirely. We're not doing major keys for pop songs anymore. So anyway, I'll see you next week, or Monday, which is still next week. I'll see you next week. Thanks.